This video is on why playing on the lower part of the neck is actually more difficult than playing on the higher part of the neck. And in order to demonstrate this, what I'm going to do is do it without the instrument. Okay, so when we play on the higher part of the neck, our hand is here, our palm is facing us. Okay, what happens though, if I actually rotate my shoulder out, which is what we need to do to go to the lower part of the neck, and I do not rotate my forearm, is this happens, and my palm ends up facing that way. And so this is just human physiology, right? We swing the arm out without rotating the forearm. The palm starts to change plane. The issue is when we have a piece of wood, like a neck, and we want our hand on it, when our hand is close to our torso, close to our chest, it's very easy to have that rotation where we have the palm facing us. But as I move out, in order to keep my palm like this, I actually have to actively rotate the forearm towards the pinky. In my undergraduate studies, when I was studying with Dennis Cinelli for classical guitar, this is about 2006 or so, in sort of a rehaul of my overall technique, he had me write this post-it note in my book, which I believe is around here. In my book, in my binder, my guitar binder, and it said, "Rotate the forearm towards the pinky," and he had me put it there because I was so used to being a rock player and playing like this, right? And then the issue is, as I would play the lower part of the neck, this would start to happen, right? I'd have the thumb over the top of the neck, and I'd like play my B flat chord like this. I'd have this pressure and tension in the knuckle here, a lot of tension on the hand overall, a lot of grip on the hand overall, right? Learning to play a power chord like this, or even with different fingers, like that, 3 different fingers, became the next challenge to learn when it came to adaptability with the left hand, right? So the hand goes out, right? Just to sort of recap, as the arm goes out, the hand changes plane. What we have to understand is that there are 2 motions for rotating the forearm. One is supination. That is this way. Okay, you can think about it as bowl of soup. One of my students was an occupational therapist. He taught me that. Bowl of soup for supination. Okay, and then pronation is rotating the other way. So when we're playing in the lower part of the neck, I have the guitar, right, my air guitar here, and I go to grab it, I'm automatically in a pronated position. Okay, I'm not in full supination. If I supinate fully, I'm going to be spun much more like that. If I want to go like this and actually have the fingers pointed at the guitar, that's very doable. And you see, if I bring the guitar back, there is that positioning. So that's how you could play with a big stretch in the lower position, right? You can grab the notes very wide. So I'm at 5, 3, and 1, right? But that can only be done from a supinated position, right? And notice where the thumb has to be for something like that, right? Because I'm at that full span. So as I just, say I grab an E major chord, a lot of people do that, thumb over the top, right? Okay, so I'm here, I'm playing the E major chord, right? In order to do this, you'll see that my palm is actually facing that way. It's totally facing that way. It's not facing me, right? So if I want to play an E major chord with supination, I actually have to manually rotate the forearm. Now, the illusion is really something like this. If I'm here in the higher position, all right, and I want to maintain that positioning, I must actively supinate as I move lower. If I don't, what starts to happen is the fingers start to peel off because I'm literally, see my palm? It's not facing my chest anymore. My palm is facing that way. So we have an actual natural physiological challenge in a way, but it just something we have to deal with. It's just how we're designed as humans, right? So where the neck is when it's out makes it so that the palm faces sideways. If we want to have more, usually for open chords, a lot of people don't need that kind of thing, especially more on the electric or the acoustic side. But on a classical guitar, generally, depending on the individual length of the fingers of the player, will often sort of require a bit more supination than we want to, especially if we're doing one finger per string, or one finger per fret like that, and we're doing, say, we want hammers and pulls like that. We're getting everything to come out very nicely, right? The supination is like a non-negotiable for that. The challenge when we don't supinate is that you see that? The pinky comes off. This is why you see a lot of the great rock players, people who play with their guitar maybe a little bit lower, or just more of the blues style players. The two notable ones for me are Jimmy Page and Eric Clapton. You watch them play their leads in any position, and they'll just never use their pinky. They'll only use the third finger. And in doing so, it's because of this preference for the for the pronated position, right? In order to start using the pinky, this is why a lot of people have trouble using the pinky. In order to start using the pinky, we must adapt a supinated rotation to the forearm. And this then allows the palm to be facing us. So that becomes the plane that the palm is facing. The fingers are now pointed at the strings. So hopefully this was insightful and shifted your perspective on the fretting hand and the role of rotation of the forearm in getting the fingers to be very comfortable in either the lower part of the neck or the higher part of the neck. As I say here, as I bring it in, when it's pronated, as I bring it in, it naturally supinates. I don't even have to rotate it, right? Now, as I'm playing, I might want to do a little supination, right? Just to keep the fingers really pointed at the strings, right? Especially if I'm going for really wide stretches, anything like that. But you see, thumb has to be very low for that. So this always requires the thumb to be lower, lower, lower. The more stretch we want, the lower, lower, lower the thumb has to be. I can't get the thumb up high around the neck and actually get any span in the fingers. Again, that's physiologically impossible. So again, hope this gives the perspective shift that we're aiming for when it comes to going, what would it be if I took my playing more seriously, or what would it be like if I took my results more seriously? This is the kind of stuff you want to implement in your playing to get new results right away. So if that's you and you would like my help with that, please feel free to send me a message. I'd love to help you out. Thank you very much. Have a great night.